Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Are you wondering how to go about learning Arabic? As someone who has taught and learned Arabic, I want to share a few ideas with you. My name is Abdul Alim and I'm the founder of the Arabic for Beginners project. And I want to give you a clear three-step process to learn the Arabic language. The first step I have for you is to focus on relevant vocabulary. This is a mistake I find a lot of beginners making. When they start out learning Arabic, they are learning the wrong words. What I mean is, if your purpose for learning Arabic is to understand the Quran and classical texts, there is no point in learning a lot of modern words. You need to focus on classical words and words used repeatedly in the Quran and these classical texts. On the other hand, if you're learning Arabic for conversation, you need to learn words which are used commonly in conversation. Or if you're learning Arabic for a specific industry, you need to learn words that are useful for that particular industry. So this is something that is very important that you need to pay attention to. And what can really help here is to use frequency lists. So these are lists of words based on the frequency of usage, of how many times they are used. So just to give you an example, if you analyze the words in the Quran, you'll find that the 70 most common words in the Quran, they make up to 50% of the entire Quran. So if you just learn these first 70 words, the 70 most common words, you can understand the meanings of 50% of the words in the Quran because they're used so many times repeatedly. So this can be a very powerful strategy to use to focus on relevant frequency lists. And for Arabic, there are so many frequency lists available. People have compiled a lot of good lists. You can find lists for classical Arabic, lists for the Quran, lists for conversation. So pick the right list, pick the right vocabulary for you, and focus on the right words. So this can help you learn a lot faster, inshallah. The second step I have for you is to learn Arabic grammar. Now, learning grammar is very important, especially if you're learning classical Arabic. And the good news is, Arabic grammar is extremely straightforward and logical. So if you compare it to something like English, there are lesser irregularities and exceptions. It is very straightforward. So it is easier to master and understand. To learn Arabic grammar, I recommend following a good textbook. So for Arabic, there are a lot of good curriculums and programs. There are good textbooks, proven textbooks like the Medina series, the series of books published by the Medina University in Saudi Arabia for beginners. This was published a while ago, but it's still being used in the Medina University to teach beginners Arabic. And it has been proven to be a very successful program. There is a newer book called Al-Arabiyya Bayna Yadik, which is also a very good book. The only issue with these books is that they are completely in Arabic, and you will need a teacher to take you through these books. Definitely check out something like Arabic for Beginners because it gives you a clear explanation of all the grammar concepts in English. So you will have a good understanding of all these concepts. You can then proceed to these resources in Arabic once you have this foundation. So I want you to think about grammar and vocabulary as laying the foundation to your language. So once you have the foundation, you can build the rest of the house. The third and final step is what I think a lot of people neglect, and this is the reason a lot of people do not progress with their Arabic learning. And this step is to practice what you learn. I want you to think about the first two steps as the tools to acquiring the language. Now, vocabulary and grammar gives you the tools to acquire the language. Now, you have to put these tools to use and practice the language. You have to say these things and use it in conversation. Practice can be reading, listening, and speaking, and you should not neglect the speaking part. And this is because speaking is what a lot of people find difficult because of shyness or reluctance to make mistakes or whatever. But the thing is, it is one thing to read هذا كتاب ممتاز، هذا بيت كبير، هذا بيت جميل، هذا المسجد بعيد, all these sentences. But it is quite another to go out there and say to an actual person, هذا كتاب ممتاز, this is a beautiful book, this is a great book. Once you say it, it becomes part of your mind. Once you use a word in actual conversation, then it's very unlikely you're going to forget it, because this is how our mind works. You can learn all the rules, all the grammar rules, you can memorize all the vocabulary, but you're just going to forget it unless you use it in actual conversation. So it's very important to get someone to practice with from day one. It can be someone over Skype. You can hire someone if you're able to practice with every day. If you have a friend who can speak Arabic, you can practice with him or her. You can find someone for free, maybe on Facebook, language exchange program. You can hang out somewhere, maybe an Arabic restaurant, practice with them. You need to find a way to practice the language. And if you do this, your learning is going to be much faster, inshallah. So I'm confident that if you do these three things, you're going to acquire the Arabic language very fast, bi'idhnillah. And my advice to you is not to worry too much about the time, because it is not really important how fast you learn the language, but what matters is how well you learn it. And like they say in Arabic, كل شيء هو آت قريب. Everything that comes is near. Everything that is going to happen eventually is indeed nearby. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.